Radio Live. Call in at 929-477-3213. Everybody out there on Periscope, thank you for your hearts. Thank you for all that love. Swipe left, swipe right, swipe down. Invite everybody. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Before I begin the show, we have an Exodus chant, and it says that our life is in the human struggle. The struggle is painful and deep. The struggle holds death and life. Out of the presence of the now, we will create the human world of the future. The past is approved, the present is received, and the future is open. So I want to thank everybody that tuned in last week. We had a great show, and we were discussing the black church and was it any good for you? During that time, we have done our tally, and I want to give a big thanks to all 4,000, I said it right, 4,013 people that we have reached through Periscope and Blog Talk Radio Live and showing the support for the show. We thank all 4,013 people who have been reached. It's just the beginning. It was our third show, and this is week 4. So this week, we are talking about getting your money right. And what's going on is people tired of being broke. People tired of being poor. People don't realize that they can be wealthy. But we have to understand what is wealth and why it's important. So in America, the foundation of wealth started when a small group of people came along and seized a whole bunch of land that belonged to Mother Earth and started dividing it. The more population grew, the more commerce grew, the more people needed things. So when you need things, a bartering system takes place until currency was developed. Once currency was developed, instead of trading things, it became the buying and selling of things, which is commerce, which is basically what backs America's, the economy is basically what backs our dollar and our strength. It is no longer gold or natural resources. We don't have any, we use them up. And we used to use gold as the standard, now we don't. What we use in America is your spending dollars, consumerism. From the moment you are born, you receive the Social Security number. That Social Security number is to track you and is utilized for the IMF, which is International Monetary Fund, along with the big banks, the World Bank, along with America's currency agencies, to borrow money off of you. It is assumed that if you have a Social Security number that you will live a long life where you will need to buy, sell, and consume things. So the more numbers we have, we can guarantee that you will eat, sleep, lodge, vacation, have fun, what have you. And that is what determines your dollar. So this is the reason why on television you will see them to say, there's a storm coming. Run and go to the store and buy milk and water and snow or salt and all this other stuff to boost the economy. That way, you spend money, more people get hired, more people that get hired buy more things, and more people, things that get bought is more industries that get supported, more industries that get supported is more people that are employed to buy more things and to help destroy the world. So that is basically the history of how currency, commerce, and money, consumerism, and spending was created. So now, wealth. What is wealth? Wealth is defined many ways. Sometimes it's defined as a large amount of money and possessions. Another definition of wealth is the ability to leave a legacy, to have freedom, and to utilize money as a tool that will last for generations. That's the difference between being rich and being wealthy. And in being wealthy, you automatically are associated with some type of longevity rather than being rich. Because being rich has nothing to do with social class and longevity. There are a whole lot of rich people who buy big houses, drive nice cars, yet they are poor or super ghetto, even though they live in a mansion. Why? Because they haven't totally understand the effects of poverty. So we have to examine now, what is poverty? So before I define poverty, for all who wants to call in, the number is 929-477-3213. Poverty is defined as the lack of. We have been indoctrinated to assume or associate poverty with money. And that's not the case. Poverty is a lack of resources. Resources associated with currency. Poverty is a lack of education. Poverty is a lack of health. Poverty is a lack of sexual discipline. Poverty is the lack of proper organization skills so that in the long term you can utilize your personal gifts. So now let me tell you the difference between education and indoctrination. And education is where you are given languages and tools, methodology of bringing out the best things in you to manipulate and maneuver throughout the world so that you can live a better life. Educations are available at Ivy League schools, private schools, and schools that the wealthy have endorsed or send their children to. And indoctrination is what most of us received. And that is, here are some lessons, take these tests, receive these certificates or degrees so that you can work for the wealthy. One more time. And indoctrination is the process of test taking so that you can go work for the wealthy. So, you, from the moment you received your social security number, were betted on to be able to become a consumer, and you are taught to basically go to school, get a good job, and work. The key word is job. When you have a job, you are very, very, very stuck in making someone else rich. So the reason why we sign up for jobs a lot of times is because we undervalue that our $1 million ideas have worth. We undervalue ourselves and don't believe that what we can do is possible. So to reinforce my point about indoctrination, has it ever crossed anyone's mind that you can go to school from kindergarten to grade 12 and never receive one class on how to balance a checkbook, how to pay credit cards, how to save, invest, create wealth, be an independent money producer or entrepreneur or business owner? 12 years of school, but for the rest of your life, money will have a major impact and relationship on you, but they don't teach you anything about money in school except economics, which is how money is used. So, what we have to evaluate is if we are indoctrinated to be consumers and to be like everybody else, where we just spend, where would that leave us? Because if we are just spending, then that means we are not investing. That means we are not opening businesses. So here's another wake-up call about my great country called America. And yes, I am a patriot. And as a patriot, I have the ability to criticize my government because I cannot be loyal to something that does not represent me, and that is beyond criticism. So if you look at America as a country to provide for its dwellers, you will continue to be upset and continue to curse our great nation. If you understand that America is an incorporation and a business, and it is set up and designed for we, the people. Those people are those landowners and wealthy people who have corporations. And if you have a corporation and formulate it correctly, you too will not have to pay taxes, i.e. Donald Trump. You too will be able to write off your car notes, your house notes, your clothing, your food. So your food, your shelter, your clothing, your transportation to make more money, and the ability to employ other people will be written off if you look at yourselves in terms of being an incorporation in America. So this show will not get into that. We'll do another show when I show you how to exploit America and formulate yourself as an incorporation. Also, when I get myself together financially and start practicing what I preach, because I'm very hypocritical in some ways, but that's another show. So when we're dealing with poverty and the lack of it, it only creates dependence. And being independent, you believe that you have to wake up an hour before work, get dressed, commute for an hour to work, get to work, put in 8 hours, come back home an hour later, and repeat for the rest of your life. So you are putting 70 hours, give or take, a week into making someone else wealthy or into helping them maintain their wealth and power. So if you're putting 70 hours into someone else's work, when is the time for your own? So for those of us who have a job and a business and a family and everything else, you tend to devalue yourself because you say you're too busy. But you can tune into Empire, Power, and everything else on time every week instead of tuning into what your business is. So this poverty and poor mindset is because people do not know their worth. So now, here's a question that I have for you. Everybody that's watching on Periscope, everybody that's being touched by this broadcast, how much are you worth? Let's have a yard sale. I want to buy you. I want to ask you right now to ask yourself while you're listening to my voice. I want to buy you. How much are you worth? Purple Rain said on Periscope, priceless. Mirimba, you got to tell me how to pronounce that, said priceless. Yet y'all go to work annually, and I guarantee you make less than 100,000. And I guarantee you, on at least 3 times a week, you look at your job and say, what am I doing here? Why am I working for people that I'm smarter than? So the people that you are employed has bought you. They have bought your time. The one thing that you can't get back. The one thing that you can't produce more of. The one thing that you are not manipulating for yourself because you're busy working for your 40,000, 60, 80, 90, whatever. I doubt if either you make over 100,000. If you do, let me know. I got some place you can send some money to. But nope, I quit that corporate life. You see? Beautiful. Congratulations to you. So for those who are employed and do not know their worth, and yell out priceless when I ask to buy you, your boss, and God forbid you call them that, but your supervisors, your co-workers or colleagues, they own you in your time when they are paying you a salary. So you have to ask yourself, with this salary, am I going to continue to be a consumer or am I going to be an investor? Is this going to be a means to an end? Because working is important. I have a job, along with, I got 6 jobs actually. So we have to evaluate why we are working for others, why we do it, and what is our worth. So now, when you understand your wealth and you understand that when people you are working for is buying your value, you will begin to start looking at how you are dealing with your finances much differently. So now, what happens oftentimes is that people don't feel they are worthy of being wealthy. You will hear people concentrate on this. Pay close attention to this. I'm sure many people relate, right? People say the Mega Millions is now 165 million. Oh, I don't need all that money. Because what I hear when people say that is, I don't need to be worth all that. I don't need all that freedom. I don't need all those options. I don't need a lack of headaches and ability to de-stress better. I don't need to be able to buffer and to experience the entire world and all of God's existence at a whim. I don't need to be better because of lack of worth, lack of value, not understanding. In their mind, they figuring all that money is just to buy more things, and I don't need all those things. I just don't need all those things. You see, but in America, wealth is freedom. Wealth is having options. I can get on a plane after this show and go wherever it is the world to exercise whatever it is that I want and to be protected legally. Yes, Purple Rain said they want it all. Amen. So we're not talking about greed. We're talking about understanding your worth. And right now we're going to take a call. We're going to reach out to Tyrone. Hey, Tyrone, thanks for tuning in.
Yeah, man. I'm just calling in, one of your regular callers, listening to the show. You know, I've been following you on Instagram and all that. I see you got a lot of different hats. And I kind of figure out that you kind of somewhere down the line harness the gene, the unlaziness gene, you know. So I just want you to speak on, you know, where do you find the drive to stay awake that long where you could do that much things? Because I'm pretty sure that you got something to tell us, because I know a lazy man ain't gonna make no money. So where do you find the hat to do so much thing at the same time, and how could one motivate himself not to be lazy and sluggard and all that?
Great question, man. Thanks for calling in. I appreciate you being part of the 4013 that's been paying attention to this show. To answer your question, I think that people think of businesses or working on their dreams or their goals as a real major effort. So if you could remember, one of the hats that I have, if you have been actually following me, is just a little more. So just a little more means just doing a little more than you did the day before. So if you say to yourself, I'm going to take 1 hour a week, the same time you dedicate to one of your TV shows, and during this hour, I'm going to work on my dream, my goal, and developing my wealth. Just 1 hour. What generally happens is you're going to become passionate about what you do. If you are not passionate about what you do, stop doing it, because you're not going to make money from it. Well, that's not entirely true. However, the money tends to come more when you continue to be more passionate. So what I do on a personal level is I tell myself sleep is for suckers. And I'm personally responsible for taking care of 5 elderly people. So I look at their decline. 2 of them is bedridden. 1 of them is in a nursing home. And I look at their existence and I say, you just gonna die and sleep. So how many hours out of my life am I gonna be in a near death position? So sleeping is like a voluntary near-death position. I want to live, and I want to live free. So what I do is, instead of concentrated on sleeping, I follow my mentors who have gained wealth, and they say, I have trained my body to sleep on 5 hours because there's so much to get done and there's not enough time in the day. And what separates me from everybody else is when they're sleeping. When you're dreaming, I'm scheming. That's the best way I could put it. And I just do a little bit every day to get to where I want to go. And I'm very, very, very far from where I want to go. But to give some credit to myself, I do step to my business when I want to get something done. I just got to find the money. And this year, I've learned that the money will come because, as Elisa Gabrielle always reinforces, the process is progress. When you are going through that 1 hour process a week, 1 hour a week, that 1 hour process a week is more progress than if you have never did anything towards reaching your goal. So I hope I answered your Tyrone's question. So let's get down to business. In America, there's only 5 ways to become filthy, filthy rich. Is you have to steal it, like so many people have done. Ask the Kennedys, ask the Trumps, ask other prestigious white males who killed, burnt down entire neighborhoods and what have you to gain wealth. They stole it. And because of their prestige and because they were in corporation, the court system didn't put them under the same scrutiny because there's no longer a person. It's a corporation, even though the corporation is the person. The other way to gain wealthy besides stealing is marrying into it. So from the African traditions, the kings and the queens made sure the kids married the kids so the legacy could continue. And that's the same thing with wealthy people. Wealthy people generally marry other wealthy people who have been received the education of how to maintain the legacy. Another way besides stealing and marrying into it is inheriting it. So generally people that come from poverty, we don't have nothing to inherit. We don't have, no, we ain't got it. We ain't got no uncles, aunts, mamas. Nobody gonna leave us nothing but a bunch of debt and funeral expenses. So we generally don't inherit it. So another way is to win it. So there's a whole bunch of scratch-off kings, a lot of people who's playing their numbers every day, who's filling out their lottery tickets in the hope of gaining wealth that way. And they generally don't know anything about wealth, so they self-destruct and end up in an even worse position because our educational system is not designed to educate you or to teach you about money. And the last way, besides stealing it, marrying into it, inheriting it, and winning it, is earning it. Earning it. So when you are working for someone else, you are earning money. You are earning a fraction of what the person is making. Now, I'm also an employer, so I understand that you signed up for the job. I told you what I wanted to pay you. I seen your qualification. You made a contract with me to work for that. Don't ask for anything more because somebody will do twice as much as what you do for half the money. So, in earning it, we have to develop ways of getting involved with a strategy of gaining wealth. If most of us are earning our income, we have to utilize that income to create more wealth. So in strategies of gaining wealth, the first thing that I ask everyone is, how much debt are you in? It is unfortunate that your educational system has taught you to go to school, get student loans that keep rising every year in cost, graduate from an institution to be a worker, and spend a lifetime trying to pay back a student loan from a degree you received for a job you do not use that degree in. So you went to school, got in debt to get a degree that you don't use. That is basically what most graduates, undergraduates have done. So if you continue to have this debt over your head, you're going to have to learn the difference between good debt and bad debt. And for those who have student loans, if you didn't know, you can no longer put your student loan to the side. The government is now coming for their money. A lot of y'all driving big houses and big cars and still owe student loans. They're not playing that anymore. Thank my brother Barack Obama. He's making you pay back immediately. So in receiving whatever earning you are earning, you have to sit down and evaluate, how do I remove debt? The way that I remove debt is I look at it and I immediately cut the penalties and the interest. How do I borrow from one person to another person to cut the debt? Or how do I go into agreement with my debtors and express to them, I am not able to pay back the $4,000. My original debt was $1,100. So I'm willing to give you $1,200 right now if you remove the debt. If not, I'm not paying you back. Most of them will say, okay, I'll create a program for you. So what you start doing is seeing, like I did, I made an oath on January 1st, I was not buying any more clothes. I had somebody real close to me that I love tell me, you spend too much money on clothes. Instead of buying clothes, why don't you put some money aside to make your dreams come true? So I made a goal. Starting January 1st, I'm not buying any more clothes till the next January 1st. And this is the 5th month, and I haven't bought any more clothes. I'm not even buying a pair of socks. We will have holes in the socks, and if you know me, you know I don't do the whole thing. But this is how you gain some money to pay down debt. I don't care if you $30, you owe $1,000, you pay $30. That's $30 less on your interest that you're paying on that debt. So pay down the debt. Then stop putting this quick timeline on things. Keep in shape, keep your health going, because if you're not healthy, you're going to die, and then none of this matters. So keep your health going. Once you keep your health going, you understand that you have a goal and a strategy of gaining wealth. And that's by removing debt. Here's another way of removing debt. Earlier I talked about the value of time. Time is a thing where you can get employed if you are not innovative or hustler. You're not going to go out on the street and sell something. You can go get a part-time job. Let's say that part-time job pays $33,000 a year take-home money. Let's say it's just $20,000 a year take-home money. You go 12 months. We already in the 5th month. Remember when you were saying Happy New Year and popping bottles? We are already 5 months in. So that would have been close to $10,000 in your part-time job that you could have threw towards removing your debt. Go ahead, get another job, get another hustle, and every time you get paid, throw it towards removing your debt. And that removes your debt. Because if you build yourself like a corporation, what banks say is, this person is making an effort to get out of debt. We got to get them back in debt so our economy can keep going. And that's when you start accumulating good debt. But I'm going to get to that. The other thing in removing debt, after your debt is done, you may have to stay at that part-time job if that's your only way of doing it, to save. Because once you save, you now have new freedoms and more options. So in saving and in having money and start learning that money is a tool to create options, you save. That saving means you have capital to be able to have more options, to make more financial moves, to make more money. So how many of you have said, I've made $1,000 work for me by doing this? What are you selling to someone that they are giving you back money? The reason you don't pursue it is you doubt yourself. And you don't have to doubt yourself and think poor anymore after hearing this show. The other important thing after removing debt and saving is make sure you learn how to evade, avoid, and then pay your taxes. Yes, you heard it on the Great Zach Tate show first. Avoid, evade, and then pay your taxes. There's no major wealthy person that I could think of that pays all their taxes and don't think about robbing the government at any chance. Now, I am not promoting that you commit a crime. I am not doing that. Let's be very, very clear. I'm not promoting for you to commit crime. I'm promoting that you become informed to find out what tax breaks are available for you if you create an incorporation, a DBA, a LLC, a partnership, or a sole proprietorship. That is what I'm saying. And you will learn that in the law, you can evade, avoid, and then eventually give the government theirs. Now, you could break the law because crime does pay. You heard it here first. Crime does pay. But the best criminals are the ones that still pay back some money. This is how Bush goes, steal billions of dollars, and his whole cabinet of oil executives keeps the money because they pay some back. They pay off people and they pay people back. So how do you pay off people? You do this by on Periscope. I apologize. I'm receiving a phone call from somebody that doesn't think that I have a show this time, no matter how much I tell them. So once you get your legal support, legal Zoom, Google, the internet, a legal counsel, preferably a legal counsel. So if anybody's home taking notes, which I suggest y'all do when you're watching the show, learn the difference between a litigant and an attorney and a lawyer. They are different, but they can be one person. So when you have the legal support that you need, you now learn how to take advantage of the law so that your money can be better protected and so you can steal better without going to jail. And that's what brings in the next person. You have to hire an accountant to protect your assets, and that accountant should communicate with your legal team. When I say legal team, it could be one lawyer, 98 years old, that's retired, that has information on what are the new banking regulations and benefits for your company. Your accountant, a proper accountant, is not just to file your W-2s at the end of the year. Because here's a news flash. You don't have to file a W-2. You can be exempt from taxes. You can let your employer know, I do not want you taking any taxes out of any of my money. At the end of the year, I will file my own taxes and report to the government based on my earnings when I turn in this W-2 form. So instead of trying to get a tax return, which is already your own money anyway, that's been pimped, interest, borrowed, lended on, and turned around and gave you back a percentage, you let them know, no, I'll pay my own taxes. I'll remove and I understand what I make and I understand the percentage I got to give back and I'll mail a check. And then you do your deductions so you don't have to mail back the entire check. So you learn this by being informed. Instead of tuning into Empire and Power, you tuning into your computer and just reading a paragraph a day. Get on your phone, read a paragraph a day, get informed. So you remove debt, you save, you pay taxes, you get legal support, and then you get your accountant. Now let me tell anybody that makes over $100,000. If your company produces over $100,000 a year, make sure you get another forensic accountant to audit your accountant on an annual or biannual basis. So what this means in regular terms is find homie to check your accountant and make sure your accountant is not robbing you. Make sure all your paperwork is in accordance with gaining you wealth. Because you see all the time, athletes and celebrities, they get robbed and they go into jail because their accountants is not practicing the right principles. No one is holding them accountable. When the cat's away, the mice will play. So if you have someone to audit your accountant, then your accountant cannot just do what he or her want to do. Because here's the thing about accountants. When they break the law on your behalf, they don't go to jail. You do. When lawyers make mishaps in criminal cases and they lose, they go, oh, sorry. You're the one going to prison, not them. So protect yourself. So now that I've shown you or maybe taught you that the 5 ways of gaining wealth is to steal it, marry into it, inherit it, earn it, or win it, you have to determine if you have what it takes to become an entrepreneur. And you do. Becoming an entrepreneur is simply having something to sell somebody else. Your fear of rejection. Can you imagine when the imprint.com and Elisa Gabrielle Entertainment, we are making all these books, Gambling with Hearts and Lost and Turned Out and Johnny Hustle and all these books that we are doing, and we're selling and pushing and trying to get people to buy, and so many people are rejecting us. Do you think we stop? No, we don't stop. Because when you're selling, like in my situation with Zach Aristotle Culture, you're selling t-shirts, people look at you like you're crazy. And y'all get discouraged about your product and your capability. Don't become complacent. Don't become discouraged. Understand it's part of the hustle. Because now you're having an investor's mindset. So somebody at home is saying, he's talking all this, but how does it apply to me? Because it's all over my head, or he don't get it, or he talking, it's so easy. Well, let me know, 929-477-3213. And I want to thank everybody that sent the message that you don't want to call in. You just want to hear me talking because you're gaining so much, and you're part of those 4,013 people. I appreciate that. But this is a talk show where you can call in and talk. It's okay. People can't see you. And what we want to do with our show that's different than other shows is let us help you get some money by giving us your Instagram, Facebook handle, your tag name. Let us know that because we'll shout it out. And anybody that's listening, that's part of the 4,013, hey, they can send some traffic your way. And whatever you're doing, people can become interested in you. If you're on Periscope, give me the pronunciation of your business of what you're doing. I will shout you out without a problem because I help you to help me. So 929-477-3213. So we're talking about wealth strategies of gaining wealth. We talk about removing debt, saving, paying taxes, getting your legal support, and your accountants in charge. We talk about what is worth, what is value. You said I couldn't buy you because you was priceless, but you're going to work for $40,000 a year. Somebody has bought you. We're talking about legacy. And we talk about wealth literacy and the 5 ways to gain wealth. So when we're talking about it, wealth, one of the questions is, how do you make more money? So there are several ways of doing this. You can look at trends, right? So I use a company like Snapchat. The owner of Snapchat was the wealthiest, the youngest millionaire to create wealth in history because he simply took 3 trends and put them together. Selfies that everybody were doing. Social media, like Instagram that everybody was doing. And Facebook and Twitter, like everybody was doing. And he combined it in one app and developed Snapchat, a place where your pictures tell your story and your videos show what you are doing with your life and why people are interested in your life and what you're doing. I'm not completely sure, but I like it, and I hope more people get interested in my life and what I'm doing. So he took Snapchat, he took these different trends. He saw these different streams of income going to these different entities, and he said, let me join them all together. Some of you, I asked a realtor 2 days ago, what are your talents? Tell me 5 things you're talented in. 26-year-old woman just starting out couldn't tell me 5 talents that she could make money off of. Some of y'all know how to cook. People need to eat. You do not need a restaurant. All right, let me stick a pin for a minute. Let me explain to you the number one important thing about running a business. I'm asking everybody that can hear this, what is the first thing you need in running a business? Come on, somebody on Periscope hit me, somebody call me up. Nobody calling, nobody on Periscope, let me tell you. Sales. Y'all think y'all need computers? You need to get legally a plan. Amen. I agree. That does come before what I am saying. Instead of sales, you need a plan. Thank you for Purple Rain. So, vision and a plan. Thank you, Shay, 1962. So, vision and a plan, Shay, 1962, said on Periscope. So, what I want you to think about is how do you create a sale? Well, you could go in your closet, you could go on eBay, and you could sell everything for $1. So you may have 300 items. I'm almost sure you can, even a pen. You can have 300 items in your house that you could probably sell to gain $300. Some of you cook. You do not need a restaurant. You can make plates of food out of your house. You can cater. Let's just think about your passions. And you can sell them. Some of us can sell our time. I do it all the time. People pay me for my knowledge and my time. You want to lose fat? You want to get in shape? You call me. I got a wedding to go to. I need you. Could you help me lose these pounds? I do it all the time. And you have to get paid for your time. The other thing is stop doing things for free. Just stop. I don't care if your auntie, your mama, everybody else, if it's costing you money and costing you time and you doing it and other people are benefiting, ask them for some money. Because if it's only $20, that's a half a tank or, for some of us, a quarter tank of gas. Every bit counts. Every dollar counts. So when you start understanding having an investor's and an entrepreneurial mindset, you start looking at the world differently. When you start seeing that garbage on the side of the road, like people who pick up 5-cent refund bottles, all they're doing is shouting to the rest of us, you dummies, you throwing money away, and I'm going to cash it in. That's all they're telling us. So what are the things that you can cash in that you are just throwing away? A lot of times is your time watching these TV shows. So now, when you're living paycheck to paycheck and you start looking at money differently, if you just say to yourself, I'm going to put $1 a day away, $1 away every day. So that's $365 more than you would have had ever in your life if you never saved before. Just be committed. $1. Our first show was about making the best rendition of you. We talked about a contract, and in one of those boxes that I showed you how to break down was your finances. Put $1 away a day. If you could put $10 away, $10 a day away, for all of y'all who got it like that. Especially if you don't have a bunch of children and dependents and responsibilities. Cut back. You got a 2-bedroom, go get a 1-bedroom. Put that money into saving and use that money that you save in investing. And when you invest, get totally informed. Become totally informed. So, with the strategies of gaining wealth and understanding the difference between consumerism and investing, understanding the law and making it work for you financially by making yourself an entity, a corporate entity, or some form of legal structure so that you can receive benefits. None of this matters if you are complacent. None of this matters if you continue to do what you have always done. Because if you keep doing what you always been doing, you're going to continue getting what you always got. And if you are cool with being in debt, if you are all right with always not being able to have what you want, you can ignore everything we said on the Great Zach Tate show today. So right now I got Maurice on the line. Hey Maurice, thanks for calling in.
Zach Tate. Thank you, brother, for even hosting such a great show, man. I'm a huge fan of yours, huge.
Thank you, my brother. Thank you very much. So, what did you want to say?
So, first and foremost, I'm calling in to find out how is it possible I can get out of debt.
Okay.
I just called the show just now, and I was a little late getting in from work, and I just wanted to know, in brief, sure it doesn't have to be anything long and drawn out, because I know you're a busy man. And, I appreciate what you're doing. I appreciate your craft. I just want to know how is it possible, clear cut and concise, how I can get out of debt.
I'm glad that you asked that question, because one of the main things I forgot to mention about removing debt is stop creating more of it. Number one thing, there's a time in my life that I had to cut up every single credit card. Shredded them all, every single one of them. I do not buy anything on credit because I do not like spending $1.50 for every dollar that I'm spending. I don't like that. I feel like a sucker. I feel like I'm being robbed and taken advantage of every time I swipe a goddamn credit card, because I am paying more for my money, and I don't like that. And 9 times out of 10, I break my golden rule, because I used to spend money on things I didn't need. I spend money I didn't have on things I didn't need to impress people I did not know. How did I create that? Credit cards and spending money I didn't have on things I didn't need to impress people I didn't know. I do not need Mercedes and BMWs. The other way to remove debt, Maurice, since you're late, is we're talking about generating income towards paying your debt down and looking at yourself as a complete income source. And when you look at yourself as an income source and what you can sell right in front of you, your time, your talents, whatever you could do to gain some money, you start paying that debt down. The other thing is negotiating with your debtors. You speak to your debtors, you save your money, even if you have to sacrifice from not paying another bill and saying to them, I owe you $4,000. My original debt was $1,100. You went and put on all these penalties. I'm never going to be able to pay those penalties. But if you remove those penalties today, I will pay you $1,200 right now to remove all that debt. Another thing is debt consolidation, which I totally don't agree with unless the institution that you owe is offering it to you. Because debt consolidators is basically saying, let me think for you. Let me take all your debt, bunch it together, see what penalties I could get off because you're too lazy to find out on your own. And now you have to pay me. The money you pay in the debt consolidator could go towards removing your debt if you just take the time to get informed. Let me say something to all great Zach Tate listeners right now, because Maurice has charged me up. I want you to just read something while you're using the toilet. While you're using the toilet, have some type of information that betters your life. Only while you're using the toilet. 10 minutes, 15 minutes. For some of us, we stay for an hour while our feet fall asleep. Read something while you're using the toilet so then you can gain more education. Something you're interested in. Right now, for me, is learning Spanish. So if removing debt is what you're interested in doing and you need to be informed and use the methods that debt consolidators use and people that get rid of debt use, read about it while you're on the toilet. Every day, I hope that you go frequently. You can read about it and be informed and start cutting down the debt. The other way is increasing your income. When you increase your income, stop changing your lifestyle. If you used to make $24,000 and you survived on that $24,000 and now you make $50,000, use that extra $26,000 to save, invest, remove debt, get the accountant and a lawyer in place. What we tend to do as a nation is we make more money to buy more things, to put us in more debt, to keep us on the treadmill, to keep going after more and more and more. We want it all, and when we think we got it all, we don't go reach for all. We still trying to get more when we say we got it all. It's crazy. You spend a lifetime sacrificing your health to gain wealth, and then you have to use all your wealth to get your health back. Come on, man. You spend all that time on a student loan to get a degree that you don't use, and now you got all that debt. The other thing that I want to talk about is insurance. One of the biggest scammers in the world. They just don't like to pay out. No matter what, they don't want to pay out. You pay, you don't pay out. However, health insurance is important. The other thing is, we have the craziest mindset towards death. We spend a lot of money and get in a lot of debt towards death and dying. Another thing is, you big New Yorkers that can have the greatest mass transit in the world love buying these big cars when you don't really need one. It's convenient at times. Go rent one. Go borrow one. Now that the invention of Uber, utilize Uber. And, these are strategies where, to answer Maurice's questions better is challenging the income towards removing your debt. Because the greatest thing about American economic system is that the more debt you remove is the more they try to get you more in debt. And that's when you go get that real estate. You start investing. Because we losing land. We can't produce more land. It's more people, population is exploding. And until they drop a virus or until they have a war to bring these numbers down or create a pandemic, I am telling you that the resources of water, yes, the Chinese are buying springs, falls, anything that produces natural water. Because they know if people continue to poison the world, you're going to want to spend more for water than you pay for gas. If you want to farm, your water bill is going to be crazy high, and they're going to tax it to death and create an industry for selling. The fact that we buy bottled water is kind of crazy and strange, but that is another show. So, removing debt, investing. Let's talk about that. Well, what do I invest in? Financial instruments, right? Let's talk about the traditional investments. There's real estate that has never... See, all right, here's the key to investing. Each of you go to your bank and look at your savings account. That 0.000 fraction of 1 cent that they're giving you on every dollar, your goal and mission is how to make something else you invest in make more of a return percentage-wise. So here's what I'm saying. You have $10,000 in a saving account gaining interest. You'll see quickly that off of every $10,000, I think you gain like $7. So now you ask yourself, how can I make $1,000 make me more than $7? Let me buy something that I can sell, finance something that money can come back into, or buy something that increases, appreciates, increases in value as time goes by. Simple as that. They're all around you. Is it stocks and bonds? Yeah, you can, as long as you're informed. If you don't want to pick a stock and bond, what I would do is I put money on the index. So if you use like the S&P 500, right? That's 500 companies that are all buying and trading every day. And they combine their average buying, trading, and depreciation or increase of those assets in one day, and they kick out an average and tell you that this index went up or this index went down. So what I do is I will bet on spending my money on the entire index. So instead of having 1 or 2 stocks, I got 500 stocks running at the same time. But I suggest you not buy stocks or invest in stocks unless you're informed about stocks. So the other thing is, some of y'all eat the same exact products every day, every week, and you're going to do it for the rest of your life because you absolutely love this product. Buy the stock. The other thing is your talent. I like the entrepreneurial way. Some people don't like the entrepreneurial way. If you pursue the entrepreneurial way, is basically taking your money and investing in something that other people want to sell and making it grow and continue and repeat the same formula. But I pray to you, which is another show, but I pray to you that you fail and you fail big. Because what I've learned in my failing is that I'm not a failure, and that the valuable lessons of blowing and messing up this money that I'm putting into a cigar company, a shirt company, a book company, and all this other stuff is it prepares me so much better to value my dollar, value the dollar that other people give me that support my business and invest in my business, value their money better, and get more informed so I make less mistakes before I decide to dive in. Instead of following that impulse, oh, it's a good idea, let me jump on it. I'll jump on it in 6 years and 6 months. And in 6 months, I'm going to get informed before I do this thing. It's just that simple. So pacing yourself and creating strategy. Strategy is better than strength. So once again, to recap, you have to know your worth. You have to believe that you are worthy of being wealthy and rich. You have to understand that poverty is a lack of many resources and not just money. And whatever resources you lack, you need to go out there, get informed, and gain it. You need to understand that you have talents and you have the ability to make a whole lot of wealth. But if you allow complacency and procrastination to get in the way of your planning, you will continuously be poor. You have to understand that living paycheck to paycheck is a consumerism idea and not an investor's mindset. Once you understand the law, once you understand removing debt, saving, paying your taxes,
90 seconds,
avoiding your taxes, evading your taxes legally, you understand that you gain wealth. So I want to thank all 4,000 listeners, 4,013. Hopefully next week will be more. I want to shout out Stu Leonard's, Big Meat and Food Supply in Yonkers. Go see Keith and Guy. Dimple Salon, need your hair done, 233rd on Barnes Avenue. If anybody wants to get ad space, it's $250. Contact Elisa Gabrielle Entertainment.com at 929-244-9460 or the Great Zach Tate Show at gmail.com. Next week's show, being fat and destroying the fat. Come on, tell a friend to tell a friend. Pick up a Zach Tate book. See me on Instagram, Periscope, Twitter, at GreatZachTate.com, at GreatZachTate.com. Next week, log in, Blog Talk Radio Live, or call into 929-477-3213. I want to thank everybody that tuned in. Give yourself a great round of applause. I have no idea how I got 4,013 people involved in this show, but I thank all of y'all. God bless you all. See you on Periscope probably tomorrow. Thank you for tuning in.